of students on the inside of that high school, that student now walking on foot to go home, glad to be alive. And when we just stop for a second, we realize, it's easy for us in the news business to give you numbers and police procedure, but it's also very important that we just stop and remember that there are real people involved in this story, families who are on the run to get to the high school, students like that who are walking home shaking. Everybody involved in this story is somebody's somebody. And so our local partners there with CBS know that they are on the ground there. They are talking and getting those real-life accounts. Let's go back to some of their coverage in real time.
Watching as this has developed throughout the day since this happened. Again, they said they got the call about an active shooter at this Appalachia High School around 9:30 in the morning. It's 1:30 right now, and there are still parents who are there trying to get together with their kids, hoping their kids are not one of these victims. Multiple victims involved. We do not know the names or the ages or the grades right now. One suspect is in custody. We don't know if that's a student, if this is one of their classmates, or if this is somebody random, or if this was a former student. There are a lot of questions that I know a lot of people were hoping were going to be answered in this press conference. But again, because this is such a rapidly developing situation, and because they are still finding so much evidence by the minute, he said, they weren't able to give us that much information.
Yeah, he asked for patience.
Yeah.
And I think it's understandable under the circumstances. You have to let law enforcement do its job and figure out exactly what went on. They certainly don't want to share any information that then turns out not to be accurate.
Right.
And so they did talk about another press conference coming up in about 3.5 hours, 4 p.m. It's coming up on 1:30 here. And if you're just joining us, it's been a terrible day in Barrow County at Appalachia High School, where there's been a shooting and there are multiple people who are injured. One suspect is in custody. We have law enforcement from all over the state and even federal law enforcement there on the scene conducting an investigation into exactly what went down. You see the students there who were evacuated to the football field for safety. Right now, parents have been driving frantically to the school, to the campus. Some of them having to park, though, as far away as about a mile or so, as close as they could get. Those parents then getting out of their vehicles and on foot, walking all the way to the campus for a reunion that they're hoping and praying takes place soon with their children.
And we have team coverage today. We have reporters all around this school, so we know the moment there's a new development out there. One of them is Yasmina Alston. Yasmina, we understand you've just spoken with someone. What can you tell us?
Lana, I just had the chance to speak with a 15.
Breaking news right now, we have reports of a shooting at a high school in Georgia right now, at the Appalachia High School in Widener, Georgia. According to reports, there is a massive police presence at the high school right now. The school is under complete lockdown. In addition, according to initial reports, at least one person has been airlifted to a hospital. Multiple ambulances are currently on the scene right now. There were reports of an active shooter at the high school with a possible injury, if not more. That's really all we know right now, according to local reports. There isn't much else that we know of that is public. But if confirmed, this could be yet another school shooting and potentially another mass shooting in America. In America, we've had more mass shootings than days in the year in 2024. And this is a similar trend that we've seen in prior years, like 2023 as well. This is a very serious situation in Georgia right now. And as soon as we get more information, I will provide it to you. Be sure to follow along to be the first to know on everything you need to know.
We are only a few weeks into the school year, and a school shooting has been reported at Appalachia High School in Widener, Georgia. Police are calling this a large-scale tragedy, and they currently have the suspect in custody, according to some early reports. Widener, Georgia is about 100 miles outside of Atlanta. This is something that is so unfortunate because American parents grapple with this every single school year. It's not a question of if there's a school shooting. It's a question of when the school shooting is going to take place. It's not a question of if my kids die. It's a question of when my children are shot in school. And this is something that is absolutely unacceptable, but a cycle we go through every single school year, and it has to stop. It's a cycle of something like this happens, and it's absolutely scary and terrifying. Then we get thoughts and prayers, but then we stop at thoughts and prayers. There's no policy, there's no action at all whatsoever. It's just, we're going to pray for these people. Our thoughts are with these people. Thoughts and prayers are not stopping bullets from killing our children in school. Thoughts and prayers are not preventing these school shootings from happening. Policy and change is what we need at this point. This story is still developing, and as it does, I will bring you more information.
Again, very fluid situation, and the FBI is confirmed to be out there. I'm now joined by Tom Haynes. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've maybe picked up from the newsroom, even in the last few minutes?
Good afternoon. Joining our coverage here as you take a look at live pictures of what's happening there on the school grounds. Obviously, still a very chaotic situation, but one that is seemingly rather calmed down over the past hour or so as federal and local authorities swarm this school and sort of lift this lockdown that it's been under for quite some time and assess exactly what has transpired here. The investigation just starting, but you can imagine the frenzied panic of parents who have kids that attend that school that want to know exactly what's going on. The good news here is that schools are very rehearsed at dealing with these types of situations. They go through drills many times a year. Unfortunately, this kind of situation is all too common in schools across the United States. So both local officials, police, the GBI, the FBI, all here on campus monitoring the situation, finding out exactly what led up to the circumstances that they're facing here, and students having been evacuated from that building out onto the football field and in several different staging areas across campus as they get into that school. Now a forensic investigation will begin. We've seen medevac helicopters there on the scene. We've seen rescue crew and ambulances just sort of figuring out what the level of casualties might have been. We do know that there is a suspect in custody. We do know that there are casualties reported, but we're talking about here almost 2,000 students enrolled in Appalachia High School. So quite a large campus. This opened relatively recently, within the past 20 or so years, back in 2000. So it is a new campus. These campuses are fortified now. The doors are locked. Many of them have bulletproof glass. So it is sort of a fortified area when you talk about the ability of somebody to enter a campus and to inflict harm on students here. Skyfox 5 is live over the scene. You can see it kind of zooming in there to people who have evacuated the building.
And now we also are able to give you a view from the ground. Our photographers were able to get set up over there, and you can see from the ground level a number of police units obviously on the scene, and we are being told that the traffic backup from this is about 2 miles. Of course, this is going to have a widespread impact to 2,000 students who have to be picked up by their parents. All those parents now trying to get to the area as quickly as possible. Here's that live look from our crew that's on the scene right now. Fox 5's Kevin Stewart had to walk more than a mile to get there, so he's probably going to take a few minutes in order to get on the scene to give us the latest in a live report. We've been checking in with him by phone, and again, we can confirm that the FBI is out there, as well as Barrow County Sheriff's Office, local law enforcement, the GBI, state troopers, and the governor, again, sending as many local and other agencies that he can in terms of supporting that local law enforcement effort out there. But they got this call. It hasn't even been